Now have an official track from Pegasa for our tropical disturbance, now tropical depression Paeng, located out here just around Yap and Palau. It is expected to intensify to a typhoon before nearing the coastline of Luzon as we head into the upcoming weekend. But one thing I really want to point out and stress to you is the cone of air. This is here for a reason. This is not a final track. Some of the guidance continues to keep this out to sea, while others want to take this on shore around Casiguran and even over towards central areas of Luzon. There is a few factors for this uncertainty. One of the big reasons is that we do have this cold surge off towards the north interacting with it. Already, we have been seeing heavy rainfall out ahead of this too because of said cold surge. In fact, look at some of these locations in Visayas and Mindanao, up and over 100 millimeters. One spot, 323 millimeters. Also seeing reports of flooding in and around Cebu area on top of that. Now, thus, this has been a potent cold surge, and thus that is going to have that interaction with this. Really, the big thing is that off towards the north, we do have kind of a break in the WestPacWx directly overhead where this is going to want to lean towards. Meanwhile, the surge, which is indicated on these winds on ASCAT imagery, could even edge this further towards the west. Overall, ASCAT imagery in the center of the circulation does show that clear center, but it is forming a little bit further towards the south and the west than originally indicated over the last few days when we had that elongated circulation. Thus, some of the guidance has continued to lean more towards the west, and which is why I do think that this turning towards the north and well out to sea is not the more probable situation based on the information I am seeing here today. More than likely, this is going to edge, if not make landfall, along the east coast of Luzon. And I think everybody here from Catanduanes back towards Casiguran, Isabela, Cagayan really need to continue to keep a very close eye on us. Even, southeastern Luzon, just because of the fact that some of the outer rain bands could impact you if this does edge close enough to your coastal areas. Take a look at the overall background flow. This is that break in the high pressure I was talking about, but we still have that flow kind of wanting to edge this further towards the west. So it's a very complex setup here with our bubble high, our WestPac high, and that troughing situated in between that. That would technically lead towards these areas turning towards the north, but that shear line continues to combat it and continues to want to edge it further and further towards the west. I know it's a lot of jargon, and you probably want to know exactly where this is going at this time. My point in these updates is not to say exactly where it's going to go, because that's very uncertain. It's to give you the latest information and everything forecasters are saying so you are aware. And the more information, the better in most cases, right? So as this comes off towards the west, as I mentioned, everybody from southeastern Luzon should be preparing at least for tropical storm strength conditions, heavy rainfall. Look at the latest from the ECMWF, taking this on shore right around Casiguran, passing just north of Manila, and then pushing across the Cagayan Valley out towards the west before it finally turns towards the north. A little bit closer look. Now, this is one guidance. Actually, I'll show you real quick where the GFS kind of wants to take this at this point. It's more to less off here towards the west, and then turns it just towards the north off of the eastern seaboard. Actually, a little bit further off than that. Meanwhile, the ECMWF, as I just shown you right there, kind of keeping it on that westward track. So there definitely is a variability in the guidance here from the GFS compared over to the ECMWF. I'm going to show you the ECMWF here, not to scare you, just basically this is what the data that comes in for my weather models, but also because this is definitely the worst case scenario. Passing down here towards south, as I mentioned, off towards southeastern Luzon, Legazpi, Catanduanes. Then it moves off here towards the north and west. Coming on shore right around Casiguran, this would be worst case scenario for that specific city. Around 10 o'clock on Saturday evening, heavy rainfall and winds wrapping around, kicking into places of Isabela across the Sierra Madre Mountains before it moves on shore. Like I mentioned, though, there is that variability. I know I've said it a few times. I want to stress that because the official track from Pegasa takes it off there towards Santa Ana in northeastern Luzon. And like I said, the GFS is still further towards the east. So this is the westernmost model guidance that we are seeing at this time. Big thing, though, is still heavy rainfall. We will continue, no matter what scenario it is, inflow will wrap around, impacting parts of Visayas and even all the way over towards Mindoro and Palawan with scattered showers. But a lot of rain here in play. Still for Yap and Palau, of course, northern Luzon should, of course, prepare based on the latest track we are seeing, but it is highly uncertain. Not to mention Okinawa also needs to continue to watch this storm system throughout the extended forecast. For tomorrow, though, as we go ahead through our day, we got scattered showers out there for most of Visayas, down towards Legazpi, 31 degrees there for you with rain. Same over towards Manila, 31 degrees with rain in your forecast. Well, it's relatively drier for now, especially across parts of Region 1 from San Fernando off towards Ilocos and Abra, where you are still recovering from that massive 6.4 earthquake that took place out there yesterday. So you at least need some drier weather for the time being. Unfortunately, with unsettled soil across that area, heavy rainfall definitely could cause that risk of additional land and mudslides. Let's look at the wave forecast. Definitely large waves from this storm system cascading across most of the Western Pacific. If you do enjoy these updates, you find them useful, you've watched all the way to this point, maybe just take a moment, check out our Patreon. Link is down below if you're watching this on YouTube, or you can just look up patreon.com/WestPacWeather. Take a look at some of these Patreon members. Garmin also always helping out. He donates just a fantastic amount of funds to keep these going. Also, Benjamin, Chris, Melissa, Roy, you're all great peoples. Billy Price, how about Harley Man, Chris Lancaster, Clara Short, James Volt, Colonel, Cy, John Carlin, Dave Riza, Michael Sox. I'm just going through and naming some of these names off randomly here for you guys. I just want to say a big thanks to everybody that does continue to support the channel. I know not everybody can afford it, and I don't want to ask support if you're currently being hit by a typhoon, but if you can, just hit the like button and share this information out so more people are informed about these storm systems. I'm meteorologist Robert Spetta, and of course, as always, thanks for watching, and stay safe out there.